Greetings to you all, my dear friends. Just waiting for all of you to join. I can see now my guest tonight. Please stay there, Padma. I'll just call you in. So I welcome you all tonight in this 24th episode of Wild Slide Lounge, and every Sunday I invite a very special guest with whom I talk about their journey, their views, their visions, their aspirations, how they went about in their life and how they reached where they are at this point of time. So all this comes in these episodes of Wild Slide Lounge, and tonight Very happy, very honored, and very delighted to have very special artist, very special painter, very special person who is, in my opinion, an embodiment of what conscious art can be. Uh, Masters like Osho has extensively talked about bringing in consciousness into art, and not many would apply that or do it as effectively or as deeply as some of them I know, and one of them is Deva Padma from Australia. She has been with Osho since 50, 40 years. She will tell how many when she joins in, and she has done immense work, immense contribution, and immense sharing of her art, her talent, her aspirations, her visions, very consciously and very amazingly, unbelievingly amazing is her art is, whether it's painting or designing or anything that comes to art. And she was the one who designed and created this famous, world famous Osho Zen Tarot cards. So before I say more about her, let's just bring her in and say what she has to say. We have been waiting a long time. I hope she joins. Please accept this request, Padma, and you will be on the screen. Unable to join. Padma, you have to use your phone because iPad or sometimes they don't allow. So please switch to your phone, come to Instagram, and then again I will see you and then I will send you a request. It seems from there it is not taking the request. Or can you try to send me a request to join? Then I will take you in. Are you able to accept the request, Padma? Because I am sending you one after another. Do you see on your screen accept something like this, a notification? Or please switch to the phone and not iPad, because iPad sometimes or they don't allow to go live. Can you watch this from your phone instead of and go to Instagram and probably because you will see a request on the screen. Yes, yes, probably now. Yes,
Can you see me?
finally. Yes, I can. On the screen. Yes, yes, probably now.
Okay, now Amano,
Yes.
I'm looking at you.
Yes,
See me?
yes, I can. On the screen. Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, now Amano,
Yes.
I'm looking at you. See me?
Yes, I can. Something is
Here's the-
echoing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Turn it off. Turn that off. Yeah, turn that one off. Okay.
Yes, now we are fine. Finally, we are fine.
Yeah. The thing is that right now
Uh-huh.
we're on the phone.
Uh-huh.
There is a split screen. I guess that's how it's supposed to be.
That's how it is supposed to be. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
No.
Oh.
Yes, yes. Don't worry about that. That's how it is.
You know, the thing is that there sometimes is an echo.
Mm.
So the voice is resonating and I'm hearing double. And for a really long time, I couldn't get you on the phone. I was only getting you on the computer, on the iPad, but I couldn't connect.
Yes, yes, yes. I understand. This happens because they don't allow people to go live from computer and bigger devices. They only allow from phones till now.
Oh.
So anyway, that's how it is. Yeah.
Okay, so we did it. We did it. That's
So we
good.
did it. Finally, we could connect after 40 minutes of trying.
You know.
Still, it's worth it. It's worth it. So welcome. I really welcome you from my heart, Padma, in this session. And I've been looking forward to this moment since a long, long time, since I knew you from your work, your art, which is so unbelievingly beautiful. It's totally and almost really unbelievingly beautiful, because I cannot imagine someone can be so perfect in bringing out these ethereal visions, or like very psychic or very personal spiritual moments onto this canvas in such vivid details, and so perfectly arranged, composed, color wise, everything. This is truly amazing, a huge divine gift, I would say. And I have no words to acknowledge the art that you share with us all up on in all these years of your journey. And this is tremendous, your contribution to the mystic world, to the world of spirituality seekers. This is tremendous because every painting that you make, in my opinion, is a is a statement and also a gift of the moment. And you put it out so beautifully, so to the point. It's just unbelievingly. This word unbelievable is coming to me so much this time. What do you say about it, Padma?
Well, first, let me say to you that you are very sweet because I can feel how much appreciation there is. I can feel it coming all the way from
Certainly,
India, all
certainly
the
from
way to
Pune, from Pune,
it's
from
come.
Koregaon Park, where ashram was is.
Yeah. Um, Amano, it's a very strange thing because
Uh-huh.
I appreciate the artwork that
Uh-huh.
comes as much as you do because it's always a surprise for me too. I can't say where it comes from, and I can't say how I create it. I can't say what it means.
Mhm.
I know that it's a blessing, and I know that part of my work in this life is to share it.
Mm.
That's clear, absolutely clear. But as far as being able to, I'm as much in awe of it as you are. I don't know where it comes from. It just keeps coming. I'm 75. I'm almost 75 years old. I've been painting for 60 of those years, and I'm still amazed. I am
You
still amazed. Still.
That's how it is. Yes, yes, I totally understand because you are still in this age so prolific, so busy with your art. It keeps on coming and like one time I commented that right at the drop of a hat you create masterpieces like such a, again I will use this word, unbelievingly unbelievable sight to behold. But okay, let's go to the beginning, how it all started, how the art came. I mean, you became aware of these talents in you, and then how you nurtured them or refined them in all these years. What was the story like? I'm really curious about it.
I, as a very small child, when I was first able to start walking,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I was always with crayons and paper, and I would, wherever I was, I always wanted to have my colors with me, my crayons and colored pencils.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I ever painted something big, not painted, but the first time I did something like on the wall, I did it with my mother's lipstick. I closed the bathroom door with my mother had many different colors of reds and pinks and all these lipsticks. And so I
Mm-hmm.
colored all over the wall with the
Wow.
lipstick. Mother
Mm-hmm.
came in absolutely crazy because
Mm-hmm.
lipstick is really hard to get off. It doesn't wipe away. But
Yeah.
I was drawing and with these lipsticks and smudging with my finger and completely immersed in these beautiful pink and red and orange. And I even tried to write my name.
Mm-hmm.
Now back then my name was Susan, so I tried to write Sue, but I didn't write. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
many years later, when I first came to India in 1975, I had been doing art for a long time. We can go back to some of the earlier days in a minute, but I'll just want to jump ahead to
Mm-hmm.
1970. Say to you that when I first was with the master, he made it very, very clear to me right from the beginning. He said, creativity is your meditation.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you don't need to worry about what form it's going to take, this, that, and the other. You just create. And that was the first time that I felt as though existence was giving me full permission to be like a garden with all the flowers opening at one time. There was this experience of, I don't have to prove anything. I don't have to explain anything. I don't have to ask what the rules are. He's just simply saying, create. From then on, the creativity has been a celebration for me and an honor. Up until that time, it was how I made a living. It was how to be competitive. It was how to manage the world. There were many, many things that went along with the creative process because I had not yet experienced the divine moment of being, take the lid off and just explode. Just whatever wants to come, let it come. And so my life has been like it's been an ongoing flood of creativity. I think he saw that instantly. I think he saw that I was like wanting to pour. And I had, when I was living in the ashram, I was living in Jesus House next to Lao Tzu. Later I was moved into Lao Tzu in Pune too. But there was always this silent prayer, which was let what comes be for him, support his work. Let it be a voice for him. So over the years, when tarot deck and all these other things happened, it was an opportunity to be formally addressed as for him. You know what I'm talking about.
Perfectly. I can relate to every word you're saying, because we all have traveled the same path in our own ways, and we seem to be arriving, but of course we never arrive, because that's also not the point of it all, because the journey itself is so full of mysteries and fascinations that it's always worth traveling and traveling and traveling and never arriving as such, because as an artist we never arrive. We are always in a process, and the process itself is such a bliss that we agree to go through the challenge. It's also a challenge at the same time, and also a bliss to share and a joy to share whatever flows through us, whatever the divinity wants us to express in that moment or in that creation, whether it's music, whether it's poetry, whether it's painting, whether it's whatever we do, whether even if it's a cooking. So whatever we do, even the simple joys of life, this things flows. So you said you met Osho for the first time in 75 or 8?
75.
75. And you first met in some darshan diary moments where you used to talk to guests, foreign guests, or was it some other occasion?
I first came to India with a friend who I was a partner with, and he wanted to visit this guru in India. I was just traveling with a friend, really. I wasn't intending. I didn't know anything about sannyas. I thought I was going on a holiday. And we stayed in Bombay for a couple of nights at the Taj, with in this beautiful room facing the gate of India. And then 2-3 days later, we took the train to Pune and had darshan. We booked into the Blue Diamond and had an appointment for something called darshan the first night we were there. And I was the first person that was called up, and I didn't know anything about anything. Nothing. Nothing. And he said, "Are you ready for sannyas?" And I said, "I don't know." I didn't know what. I didn't know what it was. And he said, "You're ready. Close your eyes." And the next thing I knew, he's giving me the name Deva Padma and put the mala on, and then my life changed. From then.
Wow.
From then. Yeah.
So much so has happened since those times of Pune when Osho was personally meeting in darshan moments, evenings. And it's amazing to see. I have met people like you, like creative people like you and other musicians also from the same generation, same Pune days. And when I see them right now, when they are at the peak of their lives, or like they say, at the very mature stage of their lives, and then still they are so much prolific in giving, in sharing, in singing their songs, in painting their paintings. Or this is such a joy to even know that these impacts are still have created such a big opening of sorts. Then the waterfall is still running down, down into rivers and rivers of something we call life or creativity. So this is such a great, I mean, even to listen to these things. So I came a bit later in this caravan of of crazy creative people. I joined in late 90s when Osho was also gone. I came when I came. So I had a different scenario there. And though I made my way in, and then I also felt everything that the sannyas world was about, and Osho was about, and the whole thing was about, and the the volcanic, almost you can say, the volcanic creativity that erupts in the creative people when they do meditations or when they go through transformation phases, and after that whole storm is gone, and then suddenly you feel a huge urge to do something creative or express through those channels. And we all do that in our own way. We all did that in our own ways. So because I know many musicians how they did it, so it's also very interesting for me to know how painters like you did it in your own way. Because painting, although it's all art forms, but painting is a different medium. And you have also evolved, I feel, in all these years of your journey with art. How did you evolve? How did you think you evolve, or you simply still place yourself in the hands of the spontaneous flow and then again let go? Or your techniques have changed, or what have changed in the process of creativity in your doing paintings?
Everything is changing all the time, Amano.
Yes.
There is no technique at all. There is just simply the it's like something wants to be created, something wants to come through. You don't know beforehand how that's going to happen. You just can, it's like hearing a voice. If I speak in terms of sound, it's like you hear a voice. It's speaking from distant, or it's singing from distant. You can't tell if it's singing in French or in German or in Chinese, but you could hear the sound of the singing, the sweetness of it, or the rhythm of it, or you know, like the difference between a flute and a tabla. You hear it and you respond to it. And for me, just to tell you, today I had a long conversation with Chaitanya Hari Deuter. He's an old friend of
Oh,
mine.
wow.
We were on the phone today. We lived in the same house in
Okay,
Pune.
okay, 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 okay.
We're all friends, and often he speaks to me about his music being like paintings, and I
Mm,
often speak to him about my paintings being musical. So
mm,
there's a place where the expression that's coming through meets. It
mm,
joins up. It's expressing one thing, and that is the bliss in the moment and how it wants to unfold. There are no techniques. Long ago, I dropped the whole idea about, and that's one of the reasons why I've had such challenges as a painter, because in the marketplace, in the world, they
mm,
want you to have a set kind of technique that they can then market. So they say,
mm-hmm,
this woman does wonderful portraits,
mm-hmm,
and that woman does great landscapes. And if you
mm-hmm,
like abstract art, go and see that person.
mm,
I never fit into any of those boxes, because one day I'm painting figures. The next day I am completely immersed in abstraction. The next day
mm-hmm,
I'm working with watercolors. The day after that I'm doing photographs with the camera, or I'm on the computer doing graphics. It's always changing, and I've long ago stopped trying to fit myself into a space whereby people can say that's her identity. I don't have an identity. I'm
mm,
as big and as wide as the rainbow. Every color is part of this life.
mm,
And that would go for any musician,
mm,
that would go for any sculptor or dancer or composer who is immersed in the absolute total ecstasy of their creating. When you are in that
true.
space, you are not defining it to fit into any categories, and you are not looking at others to see how your work compares to their work, because it's not work, it's your being.
Definitely.
It's not work, and it's not on a schedule. It's
Mm,
something that just happens. And for
mm,
me in this life, it's happening a lot, a
mm,
lot, a lot, a lot. And I just get out of the way. I'm very busy all the time, not because I'm pushing myself, but because I just have a lot of things that I'm longing to bring out. They're all wanting to be born.
beautiful.
I'm permanently pregnant.
Mm, great. Such a deep statement. I totally relate to that. I totally resonate with what you say. I understand that very well because we are all almost there in the same way, pregnant with so much, so much, so much undefined. Let's not even talk about what they are, but they just come through. And similarly, like you said, when I compose, a tune automatically comes in my mind, in my psyche. It takes me to the scale I would like to use, and I already know probably maybe it is some kind of if it is celebrating music, or if it's a very serene music, or if it's something like this I want to do, then automatically the same supporting musicalities will come to me, and arrange that piece or thing in a beautifully laid out platter of where everything should be. Like it just comes down. silently sits there waiting to be like simply claimed and then expressed. It's almost like this, and I love doing this work with so many therapists, Osho therapists also, who want me to do music for their specialized, customized meditative or therapeutic sessions or all these things. So and they always throw challenges at me. Okay, we want this, but like this, and in this type of situation where people are just coming out of catharsis and they need some kind of sound wave, a sound wall or sound curtain so that they can safely be private in their own way of that expression of whatever is going to happen in that room or that event or whatever. So same happens to like, and I'm sure same happens to or happened to Chaitanya Hari also, musicians like him who had done such a tremendous work of music, who has been instrumental in millions, thousands of people's transformations when they do Kundalini or these types of very, very important meditations, and how they help, the music helps in those people when they do it. This is also tremendous, tremendous, tremendous space when musicians or creative people go into, and and at that time, of course, Master was there guiding directly, and so much things were happening in those that cooking pot of ashram called ashram. So this is very, very heartening to know all these things and to relate with and to talk about these things. And one question that comes, or one thing I would like to also know from you, Padma, is how did this tarot situation came, like how Osho, did you Osho himself tell about you about this tarot, or I mean how this happened, Osho Zen Tarot?
The only thing Osho said about the tarot was that I should do it.
Okay.
He said Padma should make the paintings,
Okay.
and he left the body shortly after that, like within 6 months. And
Okay.
I, for several years, began working on the images for the tarot. At the very start, I was working with a German sannyasin
Mhm.
by the name of Jivan Upasaka, who had asked Osho if she could do a tarot deck. And Osho said yes, and it should be a Zen tarot deck, and Padma should make it. So she spoke with me and said, he has specified that you should do, and I was delighted, because since I was a girl, I had always believed I would one day do a tarot deck. So that was like, okay, that was like a dream come true. But Upasaka left India about, I don't know, maybe 5-6 months after that time, and she didn't come back. And she and I had started this thing together, and she went to Germany, and then she went to South America, and I was thinking that she and I were going to do this as a partnership. She didn't return. So over a 4-year period, I had many, many other things that I was doing in the commune. And, you know, these pyramid buildings that were built and all of that, that was all happening then. And I was designing the rooms and, you know, all stuff for all of these people that were moving into the ashram. And I was very busy with all of that. And I was going to Bombay constantly. So at that time, working on the tarot was like a kind of side project that I would do it in my room at night kind of thing. It was like separate from all my other stuff that I was involved in. And then as soon as it seemed like most of the artwork was finished, I turned it over to the publications department, and I got a message that there needed to be a book. And I said, well, I'm not a writer. And they said, well, you need to do a book because there's a publisher, very big deal publisher in New York that wants to publish this deck, but they want a book to go with it. And I said, well, I'm not a writer. So I spoke into a tape recorder the descriptions of the paintings. And those words were then put into text. And then I was told, but there needs to be the master's words as well. So I started going through all of the discourses, the Zen discourses, to find excerpts from different discourses that fit with the different paintings. And this was all very, very challenging. And there was a lot of tight timeline because then New York was involved and, you know, people were expecting by a certain date and all of this. So I knew when it was near its completion that it was going to be a big deal because I'm very familiar with tarot, have been for most of my life. And I knew that these images and this combination of explanations of what the art is about and the master's words, I knew that it was going to be like a bomb going off. And I mean a positive bomb. And most of the, around the world, Osho's books were not in the bookstores back then. They were in India and in a few places, but he was not all over the place. Within a year of that book coming out, Osho was everywhere. And that was a prayer, and because the prayer had always been, let the creativity be in support of his message. And the rest is history. It's now sold many million copies. And he's in 40 different languages. And the Osho Tarot is what opened the door for that to happen.
Beautiful. Such an amazing story. And who decided this is major arcana, this is minor, and
that's the way
these should be the
built. That is the way tarot is built. If you imagine, Amano, if you imagine that tarot is a book, and it has 78 chapters, and every one of those chapters has a certain storyline, and that is set. There's a major arcana and a minor arcana. The minor arcana are like the seasons of a year. The major arcana is the seasons of the spirit. And together you have the physicality, the physical world, the mind, the heart, and the physical body, your feet on the ground, your energy, and then there's your spiritual life. The core of your being and the shifts and changes that essence goes through over the course of your journey into awareness, full awareness. Tarot is a mirror of the moment of where you are in the book of your existence. And it's very
in the
profound.
traditional, it's deeply profound. And in traditional tarot, like there are like 4, what do you say, cups and
4 suits. They're called the trumps.
Suits. Trumps.
Yeah.
Yes.
It used
So
the word trump. So You know, we won't call them Trumps because I've got issues with Trump. So we'll just say we'll say suits. There's 4 suits. There's cups, which is the emotional. There's swords,
Yeah.
which is the mind.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. There's
Yes, yes.
wand, which is the energy, the
Uh,
vitality, the fire
uh,
within.
uh,
And then there's pentacles, which some people call coins or money. Some people
mhm,
call it earth. Some people call it the marketplace. In the Osho Zen
mhm,
Tarot, it's called rainbows. It's because it's the full spectrum of experience of exchange.
mhm.
And
So
then the
you,
major arcana, spirit.
major. Mhm. So you gave the words or topics um, from the Osho's different aspects of messages, teachings, whatever. Like, okay, because pentacles would you put pentacles into something different. Like you selected different topics which come under pentacles, then different topics under cups, different topics under wands. Traditionally, it were different names, but you changed and you gave a different, like, world, or I remember different cards, in the moment, mirror, mind mirror, something like that. So you changed all this, or something, somebody did it for you, or
No,
and
nobody
you
did
just
anything.
painted. You
Nobody did
yourself
it.
did all that. Oh,
Just
but
nobody did
you did it.
anything.
This is such an amazing thing to know that you did it so well, so, like, precisely as it should be, beautifully,
Yeah.
like, amazing. Every aspect of life is there: mind, body, soul, market, world, this other world, blah blah blah, understanding of all sorts, major, minor, major, minor, like we have major chords, minor chords. So same, same, it came out so beautifully apt and so beautifully perfect. This is what I was wanting to ask, that who did it? You did it yourself, or you were in
Well,
consultation
the thing
with?
is, you know, it's Amano, it's a little bit strange because I'm just this little person. I'm a rather small human being. I'm not very big. And people think of these things as really big, like the Osho Zen Tarot. It's a, you know, it's big. That's a big work. But to say who did it, existence did it. It was the right time for that thing to be born. And I was the one who it came through. But,
Yes, yes, totally understand.
you know, I look at it, I look at the Osho Zen Tarot, even though today I've got it on my desk. It's always around me somewhere. Um,
Hmm.
I look at it and I I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. But I,
Hmm.
at the same time, um, I find it difficult to own it
Or take credit
because
for it like that. Hmm.
you know, I had to I was I I had to sign documents regarding copyright
Hmm.
for all the years that I was a disciple. There was never anything like that. But when it
Hmm.
was finished and it was about to become part of the marketplace, and you know, money was going to be
Hmm.
exchanged, I
Hmm.
had to sign papers
Hmm.
for several years. But not even several years, but actually in the very beginning there was this thing of my name wasn't going to be put on it.
Hmm.
And I don't know if you ever look at the cards, but you see that there's a little P in a circle on every single one of the art. I pick on every artwork. That's Padma. And I said to the people who were running the commune when the deck was about to be published, the world has a right to know who the artist is. If you leave the artist's name off, it will be a travesty, because people have a right to know where this has come from. Now, that's not to say, you know, so somebody can become famous, not at all. But in the world of creativity and the world of art, if we did not know who Michelangelo was, if we did not know who Mozart was, if we did not know who Amano was, no one would ever have any sense of the human connection, the human life, the simple life through which this phenomenal thing occurs. And I believe it's really, really important in this day and age for people to be in awe of creative expression, and for them to recognize that that expression is coming through somebody just like you and just like me and just like the guy that lives down the street. We're no different from anybody else.
That's the whole purpose of the series that I do this on Instagram, to bring this very statement that you just said right now to this very point, these very things. Because, like I said in the beginning, to put consciousness into art and then create, like usually when artists create art in non, let us say, meditative or zone, or traditional zone, or whatever zone, then they create art in a different way. But when we do bring consciousness into it, not consciously the consciousness, but the spontaneity of the consciousness that flows, and we are the same person, we are the same creators who would do any other things like buying vegetables or whatever. But when we are in the same spontaneity of the moment, and the divinity is flowing through the skills of our whatever we know, small or big, doesn't really matter. But that is the precious thing, that is the most important precious thing that is to be acknowledged, that you rightly said, that okay, the P in a circle is the acknowledgement of the whole effort that went through this epic gift of to humanity. Let's say that epic at least should have a P in a circle to
Yeah,
denote that okay, this comes from this person, and we
yeah,
acknowledge that effort. That's it.
yeah.
We
It's
acknowledge
like
that effort.
a love letter. It's like a love letter. If you get a
Yeah.
love letter mail and you don't know who it came from, well, nice, but it's really nice if you know that it came from the one that you think is super sweet. It's like,
Yeah.
it's, you know, years and years and years ago, when Osho was giving discourse all the time and everything, you know, I used to think the Zen masters, the ones that created these amazing Zen things, nobody signed anything. They just happened, you know. And I used to think, you know, you must never put your name on any of it, because you know, it needs to be just in a let go. It needs to just go into the winds and the breeze and let it be taken by the trees and all of that. And when I got out into the world after I moved out of the ashram and I started being in the world again, I realized, wait a minute, Padma, wake up. It's very important to put the name. Next life, I may have a very different name. Last life, I'm sure I had a different name. It's very important to put the name. That way people are able to trace They're able to understand the fundament out of which this has come. It's very
Yes,
important. It's like the
that's what.
ground.
Yes, yes, yes. Very important, very important, very important. That's why all my questions regarding this was that who created all that? Maybe there was a team, there was some team of editors or whoever were giving you notes or blah blah blah. Go
No,
into.
listen, there were editors.
Uh-huh,
There was a publications department.
uh-huh.
But the design of the cards, the way they look with a little diamond on the bottom with a number in it,
Mm,
and this, that's Padma.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Names on the cards, that's Padma. The art
mm,
in the window, that's Padma. The
mm,
selection of Osho's signature on the back, that's Padma. Okay?
mm,
So get that straight. When it was first produced, it was advertised as this was a commune project.
mm,
And it was. But it was
mm,
all done by one woman. And then it was handed over to the publications department who got it produced, who put
mm,
together the bones so that that thing could manifest
mm,
into the marketplace. And there was a
mm,
whole series of wonderful, wonderful people who worked on putting together the booklet and how it would look, how it would open
mm,
out, designing the
mm.
pages, the box, all of that was done by many different people. But the deck of cards itself essentially came from this little woman standing right here.
Yes, sure.
Oh, hello. Here she is. And it was done out of her love for her master and what
Beautiful.
he has given to the world. And if she could contribute to that, that was the greatest opportunity ever.
Mm. That was the story I wanted to listen for a long, long time since I first saw this deck, and also uh, other issues or other things I wanted to know from you directly, because you were at the helm of all these things in those times, and you created such big projects. I mean, you were part of so many all these things. So I wanted to listen from you directly. And then you said you later came out. When did you leave this Pune and India situation? And you, since then, are you in Australia, or you had some other? Uh,
I live in a very remote area in the state of Victoria.
mm,
There's a lot of sannyasins in Australia, but I'm not living in any of the communities. I
okay.
live with my husband, who is a sculptor, a stone sculptor.
Mm,
And we have a studio where we both create. Right now, he's doing a lot of illustrations
mhm,
for his own project related to his own life journey. And
mm,
we live in the nature. We have lots of
mhm,
animals around, and we stay removed from the
mhm,
marketplace. I've
mhm,
stopped exhibiting years ago. I pulled away from working with galleries and all of that. I was feeling not happy with the way the art world operates.
mhm,
And so I just withdrew and carried on doing my own thing, and life has provided for us to be able to keep going. And so that's what we do.
mhm. Great, great, great. I'm so delighted, so happy. My heart is so much filled with such, uh, what is the word I should use here? Just to be in your
Gratitude,
company and to
gratitude, Amano.
gratitude, gratitude,
Gratitude.
100% gratitude,
Yeah.
gratitude to be finally in conversation with you, to be in your presence, and to understand what exactly you went through, because I have really been touched by your work, and so it is good to know, good to have a good conversation, a talk with you, and to connect back to so many. because we also share similarities in some ways, and also sometimes I wish, and I had dreams that, oh, I wish I was also in Punawan, and in those times, and Osho was there, and how different my journey would have been if that was the case. It's just a daydreaming of sorts, but
Mm.
I feel okay wherever I am and whatever happened. Also, it was good, and I had my lessons for that, and my journey is still as flowery or beautiful or as expressive as it could be. So I'm also very happy doing similarly the music in musically the same thing you do with your partner, creating things, beautiful things in your studio, living by nature mostly. And so, what is your day-to-day daily life now, Padma? What do you, how much hours you put into, or is it like just you flow through your energies the whole day? What happens?
Well, right now I've got several different things going on, several different projects. They're all self-assigned. And I'm in the process of developing another tarot deck, quite frankly, and it's almost finished. And I have,
Wow.
yeah, really, it's kind of funny that we were even talking about the tarot, because I felt shortly after I finished the Osho Zen Tarot, I had a little bit of frustration because there were so many other things that I wanted to address in the deck
Mm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
that with the fixed number of 78, and then we put in the 79th card of the master, but there were so many more things that I wanted to be able to somehow touch into. And so years and years, here we are, many years later, 25 years later or whatever. I'm doing a deck that you could call it a sequel, but it's not an Osho deck as such, because I'm not doing it with Osho International. I'm doing it
Mm.
independently. It's called The Transmission, and it will be another tarot, and it will be the cards that were not fitting into the first 78, and it's
Mm.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
Wow.
The messages that are going with this deck are very
Contem.
meaningful.
Mm.
They're very meaningful, and particularly in this day and age, because the world has
Mm.
changed so much in the
Mm.
last years. It's just changed so radically.
Mm.
The environment, now we have COVID, people are dealing with all sorts of changes in their lifestyles,
Mm.
and there's much more, I think there's a certain seriousness that has entered into people's lives, because they're having to reflect on things like
Mm.
death and illness and time passing and
Mm.
change, where they see declines and shifts in the nature. And so
Mm.
these are things that I'm addressing more in this new deck. And
And
so, yeah.
how would you make it available? Like how people
Well,
would
it
be
depends.
able?
It depends on what happens once I complete it.
Okay, okay.
Um, you know, uh, the world of publishing is very complex, and
Mm.
I'm not somebody who does marketing, like
Mm.
how to sell a thing that you do. So
Mm.
I have a person who's called an agent, a woman in
Mm.
America, who will, when I'm finished with this, she will present it to different publishers to see who is interested in it.
Mm.
I don't know
Okay.
if anyone will be. They may not
Oh.
be. But it's been, again, like with um, the Osho Zen Tarot, and also when I did the Tao Oracle, these are things that really, really wanted to happen. I was full with them and needed to produce them, needed to make them manifest. So that's how this transmission has been. And I actually began it almost 12 years ago. And it would have periods of time where it was happening,
Oh,
and then I'd decide and other things would go on, and then it would come back and be active again, and then it would go to sleep, and then it would come back. And it's been like that. It's been like open, like tide coming in, tide going out, tide coming in. But in this period of time of COVID, the last year and a half of being in isolation and living very, very quietly with my husband, I've been incredibly productive. And so I dove back into that project, and it's nearly finished now. I have finished 71 of 78 paintings
okay.
for that new deck. And it's been
Wonderful.
developing very gradually, and it's
Beautiful.
going to be very powerful.
I'm really looking forward to it. I will really the
Yeah.
first person to get it as soon as it's out.
Forward to it too. Yeah.
So great. What did you say?
Yeah.
Sorry, it was, what did you say, please?
I just said I'm looking forward to it too.
Yeah.
You know, it's wonderful to be able to work with it, and also to work with it in conjunction with my other decks, because as far as I see it, it's all part of one continuum. It's like a kind of multifaceted jewel. And where one leaves off, another one picks up, and they carry on and they evolve. The cup was filled many years ago by being with the master, but the cup has been emptied and filled many times since then. So what is being produced now will be a song that comes from the same deep place, but the voice will have changed.
Really, really great. I'm looking forward to it. And I wish and hope you keep doing all this amazing, incredible. Now the word incredible is coming. Before it was unbelievable. So please keep doing all this. This is such a golden conversation we are having. Anything else you would like to share, Padma,
No,
of
I just
all your life?
say something to the friends in beloved India. I just would like to say, I'm sitting here. I'm in the southern hemisphere. It's winter. It's cold. It's rainy outside. It's late at night. Normally, we go to bed at 8:30, so it's way past my bedtime. But I want to say to the beloveds, particularly those of you who are living in India, there has been much grieving for the terrible loss of life and the changes that have occurred over this last period of time. I have grieved so much. And at one point, it actually felt as though the whole of India was turning into a burning gat. And I want to say that there is a process going on that somehow needs to be going on. We cannot understand why. And there is no reason to look for places to blame. We must simply be in this fire of change. And we must focus on life never, ever makes mistakes. There is a wisdom at work that we can never fully understand. You are all in the hands of existence. Yes. Much love to all. Much love. Much love.
Yes. Thank you so much, Padma. Thank you so much for this message. Thank you so much.
Time to go to bed.
Yes, yes. I just play a little bit of simple music to finish this conversation. Sorry to keep you waiting till late. Thank you so much, Padma. God bless.
Thank you, Amano. Thank you.
God, thank you. Thanks a
Good night.
lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Please take care.